Get your paper here. We all buy it. Another more Whitechapel. Police suspect Jack the Whipper.
Another member of the criminal element found floating in the Thames. Police suspect gang war. Read all about it.
London playboy robberies, kidnapping and taking kippers. We all buy it.
Police suspect evil genius at work. Found the jewels stolen from the South London. Read all about it.
Whoa, I'm the playboy here. We all buy it. Whoa,
Here, over here. Lad, let's have a paper over here.
Yes, sir. Right away, Governor. Thank you, Governor.
Evening news. Who stole the jewels from the South London? Read all about the baffling mystery. Get your paper.
London get by outbreak of crime and violence. Paper. Whirlwind from Prince of Bohemia.
Foreman, what are you doing at the window?
The paper, ma'am.
You may read the paper below stairs when I'm done with it, not before.
Oh, but there's something here that will interest you.
Let me see that. Murder in Whitechapel. Gang war. Jewels stolen from the Tower of London. Is that all?
The article about the royal wedding, second column.
Royal wedding for the Prince of Bohemia. Undoubtedly, you've heard my husband and I discuss certain private matters in regard to the prince.
I know my place.
Do you? Then you'd better give up any idea of blackmail, or I shall have to inform Scotland Yard that I am a wanted forger in my employ.
Please, Mrs. Larrabee, I told you that in the strictest of confidence.
Just because of your criminal past that I hired you. Needed someone who could keep his mouth shut.
Blackmail? Nothing was further from my mind.
I trust so. For your sake.
The parlour maid wishes to give notice.
I pay her well.
Certain things in the house distress poor Teresa.
I'll speak to the girl.
Yes, ma'am.
His Royal Highness, Prince Karl von Stauberg of Bohemia, will wed her Royal Highness, Princess
I found Sid. He'll be along in a moment.
Read this. Second column.
Ah, so he's going to marry a Romanov, is he?
It's good for us. The better the title, the higher the stakes.
Not unless we get those letters.
We'll get them. Never you worry.
Foreman said you wanted to see me.
Yes. What's this nonsense about you giving notice?
Well, I just don't like the way you treat your friend.
You misunderstand, Teresa. She's ill. She's not right in the head.
If we are harsh with her, it's only because we're thinking of her own good.
You mean she's demented?
Quite.
Well, that does make a difference.
Indeed it does. Run along now and let's hear no more talk of your giving notice.
Yes, ma'am.
It's a silly thing. Might be wise to let her go.
Never. We have to keep up appearances.
Sid, Prince here.
In the drawing room, Sid.
The door was locked and I couldn't resist the temptation to pick it. What's the game?
There. Does a Miss Alice Faulkner staying with us?
A guest, you might say.
We met her a few weeks ago. She was despondent. We gained her friendship. Seems the sister, poor thing, drowned herself.
She loved a man who could never marry a commoner.
A titled gentleman, eh?
A prince?
Like me?
Nothing like you.
He wrote letters to the unfortunate girl. Letters that could cause considerable embarrassment if they fell into the wrong hands.
And he wants to let us back, eh?
We're dealing with an insurance company now. They're acting as go-between for the prince.
And them letters is near, right?
When Alice first came here, she trusted us. When she began to have doubts, she ordered a lot changed on our safe. When found out, couldn't frighten or starve her into opening the thing.
Sid Prince and his magic fingers could have it open in a jiffy. I could do it blindfolded.
Never mind congratulating yourself. Just do the job.
Voila!
Empty!
Empty? Bless me! She's fooled you again!
She'll pay for it! Get her!
I'll twist the truth out of her.
Look here, Madge. I don't go for no rough stuff.
You think that I have come this close to a fortune just to let it slip away?
Sounds to me like the girl's too clever for you.
She'll talk.
Beg pardon, Mrs. Larrabee.
Yes?
I encountered a gentleman in the garden. He's gone around to the front.
What gentleman?
His card.
I don't know the gentleman.
Who's the bloke?
Sherlock Holmes.
I'm getting out of here.
What's the matter?
Don't you know who he is?
Probably working for the insurance people.
He's a private investigator. I don't want to see him. He put me behind bars 2 years ago. He's the devil, that Holmes. It's him.
Keep calm. We don't have anything to worry about.
Go away!
I'll hide.
Shall I meet the gentleman?
Of course. Find out what he wants. I'll be upstairs.
Won't you please come into the drawing room, sir?
Thank you.
Whom did you wish to see, sir?
Take my card to Miss Alice Faulkner, please.
Miss Faulkner doesn't see anyone. She's in very poor health.
I prefer to hear that from Miss Faulkner herself.
As you wish.
Fresh fingerprints. Particles of codicil on the dial. Not more than a few moments cold.
Good heavens! Who are you?
Please do not be alarmed. My name is Holmes. Sherlock Holmes.
Not the Sherlock Holmes, the famous young detective?
Actually, I'm a consulting detective. I assist the police in the more difficult cases. Now, who has been at this safe?
How should I know, Mr. Holmes?
Only one man in London, rooms in a hotel favoured by Conan, who also happens to be a master at safe cracking, Sid Prince.
Sid Prince? Never heard of him.
Nevertheless, I suspect he is somewhere about. Please fetch him.
I'll try, sir.
Try the front. I assume he is watching the house.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Holmes?
You are Miss Alice Faulkner?
I'm in poor health, Mr. Holmes.
You are Miss Alice Faulkner?
I'm in poor health, Mr. Holmes. Please be brief.
Miss Faulkner, you are dealing with a reputable insurance firm regarding certain letters.
That is my business, Mr. Holmes.
Incorrect. It is my business. You see, the insurance firm has engaged my services.
You wish me to set a price?
I wish to speak with Miss Alice Faulkner.
And so you are.
Do not try my patience, Madge Larrabee. I happen to know that you and your husband are keeping Miss Faulkner a prisoner in this house, and unless you produce her at once, I shall inform the police. Yes, the French authorities are quite anxious to learn of your whereabouts.
James! James, bring her in here! Hurry! You're a clever man, Sherlock Holmes.
Clever? I am not clever, Madge. I am brilliant. And the sooner the criminal class in London realizes this, the sooner the city shall sleep in peace.
Let me go, you beast!
Over there with her.
Who's he?
Sherlock Holmes. He's working for the insurance people.
Do not reach for your pistol, Larrabee. It would be quite foolish.
Pistol. Nothing of the sort. I was reaching for my pipe.
You mistreat this poor girl. There are marks on her wrist.
I wouldn't tell him anything if I were you, Alice. What he wants is your precious letters.
Do you wish to lodge a complaint against these people?
I will handle this matter in my own way.
I implore you, Miss Faulkner. If you release the contents of these letters, there is no telling what damage you will cause.
Damage? What do I care for damage? I'm only interested in one thing. Money.
The insurance people will pay you a fair price.
I'm not interested in a fair price. You may tell your employers the letters will cost them thousands and thousands of pounds.
May I see these letters?
You'll have to find them first.
Quick! Quick! There's a fire below stairs! Smoke coming out of the kitchen window!
Fire!
There's a devilish forming!
Don't let it spread.
Why didn't you help them?
Because I have the matter under control. When a woman thinks her house is on fire, she runs to the thing which she values most. A married woman grabs her baby. An unmarried woman reaches for her jewelry, or in this case, letters.
I'm ruined.
My only wish is to help you, Miss Faulkner. You are in the clutches of two villainous criminals.
You're clever.
Brilliant.
You have the letters. You've won.
Well, yes, I do have the letters, but no, I have not won.
Only a grease fire.
Foreman started it, tipped over a pot of lard.
I cannot take these letters, Miss Faulkner, unless you turn them over voluntarily.
Why not?
Because that would be stealing.
You cannot have the letters.
In that case,
You're mad!
I am not happy with Miss Faulkner's decision, if that is what you mean. I would advise you to leave at this house at once.
I'm not afraid of them any longer, Mr. Holmes. If they attempt to seize these letters, I shall destroy them, tear them into shreds, eat them, burn them, but destroy them I shall. There is no profit in ashes.
You are a remarkable young woman, Miss Faulkner.
I shall go to my room.
I trust you shall not take this matter lightly. If any harm should come to Miss Faulkner, I will hold the two of you personally responsible. Be warned. No need to show me the door. I shall find my own way out.
Just when everything was going so well.
What are we going to do now?
All clear.
Not with that Sherlock Holmes onto us.
What about the letters?
Holmes didn't get them.
We ought to go upstairs and take the letters by force.
What good would that do with Holmes on the scent? Besides, you heard her. She'll destroy them, and not one penny for our trouble.
If Holmes is on the case and you need help, there's one man you've got to see.
Who?
Moriarty.
Moriarty?
Professor Moriarty, the Napoleon of crime. He ate Sherlock Holmes with the right passion. He'll get them letters for you and stop that stupid in his tracks.
Sounds good.
What are we waiting for?
Where to?
Where else? To the professors. Come on then.
Citizens of London, the time has come for women to take their rightful place in the scheme of things. For too long, men have ruled the universe with no thought of sharing power with their wives, sweethearts, sisters, daughters, mothers, and mothers-in-law. I ask you, is this right? No! Is this fair? No! Is this just? No! Well, sometimes maybe. I thought you asked me opinion. No. Hi, Flower dearie. Only a penny. I say the time has come for suffragettes to march on the House of Lords, the Commons, the Admiralty, and all other bastions of male supremacy. If all else fails, we'll chain ourselves to the gates of the government house. We'll demand that Queen Victoria declare a national holiday to commemorate the injustices done to women by unjust laws and unjust men. If all else fails, we'll refuse to serve tea.
What rubbish! You women ought to be locked up.
What seems to be the trouble here?
It's these infernal suffragettes making a nuisance of themselves in the public street.
Well, it's the police you're talking to now. Move along, move along. There now, sir. Things are as quiet as a summer night.
I trust so, officer. It isn't safe to walk in London anymore.
Nothing to fear, sir. I'm here to protect our honest citizens.
Oh,
What's wrong?
my necklace! Someone's stolen my necklace!
My wallet's gone.
It must have been the suffragettes. Quick, down next corner, get some help. I'll follow them women. Stop, thief! Stop, thief!
I understand that our contact in the Tottenham area has been holding out on us again.
His collections from your protective society have fallen off by 2%.
I suspect that 2% may have ended up in our contact's pocket. I think we can dispense with his future services. Arrange for his body to be found in a mail sack, somewhere north of Scotland.
Yes, Professor.
What about the informant who was working undercover with the Scotland Yard on a jewel heist?
Disposed of in the usual manner. There'll be no trace.
As usual?
Oh, one of the dock workers in your employ was overheard mentioning that he was a close friend of Professor Moriarty.
Professor Moriarty has no friend. And Professor Moriarty is friend to no one. Have him attended to.
Yes, sir.
See that his disappearance is noticed. Have it spoken of. Have the workers on the dock wonder what became of their mate. What they conjure in their imagination will be far worse than the truth.
You're a master of psychology, Professor.
Yes. Anything else?
3 of your men come up for trial on Thursday next.
Ah, yes. Thanks to the young Sherlock Holmes.
He'll be the Crown's star witness.
Holmes has interfered with my plans once too often. I do not wish him to testify.
Will you deal with him in the usual way?
You surprise me, my dear Joan. You see, Sherlock Holmes is not a usual human being, and therefore cannot be dealt with in the usual manner. Moriarty here. It's Mrs. Bassick. Admit her.
The Professor will see you, Mrs. Bassett.
Report.
A respectable hall from various suffragette meetings held throughout the city.
Clarify respectable. Not as good as our hall from the Tower of London, John.
Ah, Professor, a Tower of London job comes along once in a lifetime.
Well, perhaps next time I can arrange to steal the tower. Anyone out there?
Sid Prince.
Who?
Sid Prince, the safecracker. You used him to open the vault of the stock exchange.
I recall.
Any assignment for this evening, Professor?
I'll get word to you. It may be that I shall acquire your special talents.
Oh?
It is all contingent upon how my conversation with a certain private investigator concludes. No trouble with the police.
My suffragettes are well trained, Professor. Whenever it looks as if the jig is up, we stage a minor riot. When it's over, the onlookers have been relieved of their wallets, baubles, and beads.
Had I used you for previous assignments, 3 of my best men wouldn't be standing in the dock with Sherlock Holmes breathing down their necks.
Yes, well, if women get the vote, it will be the end of our masquerade.
Well, I do not intend to see so valuable a gang as our suffragettes lose their colour. To this end, I am working diligently to see that women do not receive the vote.
I understand.
Good. John, admit Sid. You'll get your cut in the usual manner.
Always a pleasure talking with you, Professor.
Quite.
Remember me, Professor?
You'll have traces of coal dust on the vault at the stock exchange. What do you want?
Seems I came across something that might interest you.
Commence.
Seems this couple,
Names.
Madge and James Larrabee.
Larrabee. They're wanted by the French police.
Blimey, Professor! Is there anything you don't know?
I don't know what you've come across that might possibly interest me, but continue.
Well, they met a young woman who has these letters that would put the Prince of Bohemia in a very awkward way.
Prince of Bohemia, you say? Where are the Larrabees now?
Waiting.
You brought them here to my secret underground office!
I vouch for the Larrabees.
Vouch for the Larrabees. Pray that you're right, Sid Prince. Otherwise the Thames River will have you for an overnight guest. Joan, admit the Larrabees.
Yes, Professor.
I wouldn't do nothing to harm you, Professor Moriarty. You can trust Sid Prince.
Trust. I trust no one. It is why I will never be defeated. What is this business you have with the Prince of Bohemia? I don't know as we want to tell you. After all, this is our game, not yours. Is it? I'm not even certain that I want to be... Silence! Here now!
I don't like to be talked to like that.
Obviously, you do not understand to whom you are speaking.
Careful, don't anger the professor.
I'm not afraid of him.
You should be, James Larrabee. Otherwise, you won't live but another day. I have my methods.
Careful.
Sit down.
I was just telling the professor about the letters.
Can you help us?
Who is the young woman involved in this matter?
Alice Faulkner. Stubborn. Her sister died in despair of the prince.
But not before the prince wrote many love letters.
We planned to sell them to the insurance company.
Everything was going fine. Then, all of a sudden, they called in Sherlock Holmes.
That's me again! Where are the letters now?
Alice has them on her person. She threatens to destroy them if we make a move.
You know the contents of each letter?
Of course.
You can make forgeries.
We have in our employ an extremely clever forger.
Foreman by name.
Holmes. Has he seen the letters?
Only the small packet he returned to Alice. He didn't have time to open the envelopes.
Type the forgery so they will look exactly like the packet Holmes held in his hands.
But why, Professor?
I have my methods. I shall expect that counterfeit package at precisely 11 this evening.
It'll be ready.
I will also require a little assistance from you both.
You haven't said anything about their business arrangements?
You will have an opportunity this evening to sell that counterfeit package for a good round sum. You will take 100% of the profits. And I, nothing.
Nothing?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Nothing except for the packet of real letters.
Careful now, Jimmy boy. Just be careful.
You were, I believe, Mr. Larrabee, acquainted with one Alf Waxman, a well-known blackmailer?
I know old Alf, sure.
We all do.
Seen him around lately?
Now that you mention it, no.
And you won't be seeing him, that is. He displeased me in a most unfortunate manner.
He won't cross you, Professor.
I should trust not. I would hate to see you on widow's weeds.
You won't have any trouble from us, Professor Moriarty. We'll get what we can from Holmes.
Wonderful.
What about the real letters?
The disposition of the real letters is no concern of yours.
Yes, sir.
Whatever you say, Professor.
Wonderful. In that case, your interview is over. I bid you good day.
Professor Moriarty, I was wondering if you had a small assignment.
The interview is over,
Yes, Professor, whatever you say, sir. Lovely weather we're having.
Prince of Bohemia. Wonderful. Splendid. Captain. Moriarty here. Bring my cab round front. I journey to Baker Street.
To Sherlock Holmes?
Baker Street is his residence, I believe.
You will go there yourself?
I will go there myself. I will offer him peace or death. Either way, Moriarty shall win.
You're a marvel, Professor. A human marvel!
Flower? Only a penny? Who wants one? Buy a flower? Only a penny? Who wants one? Flowers for sale. Buy a flower?
London fog. Invigorating.
Buy a flower? Only a penny? Who wants one?
Good for the circulation.
You're speaking to me, sir?
What? Oh no, my good woman. I was commenting on the healthful benefits of London fog. It is rather underrated. For some maladies, it can be most beneficial.
Bless me, sir. You talk like an educated man.
I'm a doctor. Watson by name.
Not the Dr. Watson. The one what writes about Mr. Sherlock Holmes?
The same.
I'm a great fan of yours, Dr. Watson.
But you don't say.
Of course, I can't read myself. But I have a friend who can pronounce all the words.
Oh, it's good to hear it.
Oh, you and your Mr. Holmes do have weird adventures. I never have gotten over the case of the speckled band.
Ah, you like that one,
Oh,
did you?
positively creepy it was. Scared me more than the case of the Sussex vampire.
Well, I'm always happy to meet a loyal reader.
Oh, no charge for you, Dr. Watson. It's a pleasure.
That's kind of you, most thoughtful. Thank you so much. Good evening.
Have some matches, sir? They're inexpensive. I've got all kinds.
Bless me, Baker Street is becoming a gypsy bazaar.
I have matches from India and some from Sweden. A person can never have enough matches.
You make them sound like the staff of life. There you go, that's what to keep you quiet.
Thank you, Governor.
Good day.
Matches.
Child.
Matches.
Person can never have enough matches.
Matches. I've kept my eye on the house. Watched everyone going in and everyone coming out.
Good. The professor's counting on us. Cover all the alleys into Baker Street. He may require our assistance.
I can decoy the policeman on the corner.
Good. Don't attract any undue attention. Be ready when and if needed.
And then after that, back to me.
Buy a flower.
Matches.
Only a penny.
Matches.
Who wants one?
Who'd like a match?
Buy a flower. Only a penny.
Matches?
Holmes! Holmes!
Must you yell, old fellow? I'm trying to concentrate on my music.
Do put it down, Holmes. I could hear the strings screeching halfway up the block.
You should develop an ear for music.
I have an ear for music. It's your violin playing, or whatever you call that, is making me wish I were deaf.
Surely my playing has not put you in this agitated state?
Oh no, old boy, it's the neighborhood.
Baker Street is a perfectly respectable neighborhood. Although, maybe a bit too respectable for my tastes.
Too respectable?
I know, dear Watson, that you share my love of all that is bizarre and outside the conventions and humdrum of everyday life. Baker Street hardly qualifies. It is comfortable, but routine.
You wouldn't think so if you had to run the gauntlet I just did. Match sellers, ribbon hawkers, suffragettes, and pushcarts. It's been busier than the fish market at dawn.
Baker Street is not the best area for commerce. Therefore, I suspect that the match sellers, ribbon hawkers, suffragettes, and pushcarts are not as they seem. I see you have visited Lely's bookstore within the hour and were once again unable to obtain your copy of London Review.
How on earth did you manage to deduce that?
These are red traces of clay on your shoe. The men are excavating in front of Lely's bookstore, and this particular shade of clay is only native to that certain locale.
Amazing!
Also, the clay has not had time to dry. Additionally, since the London Review is a large periodical that cannot possibly fit in this medical bag of yours, I can only surmise that they were sold out.
You astonish me, Holmes.
Elementary, my dear Watson.
Now, if you would be so kind as to lower my foot.
Yes.
Oh! Thank you. Oh. I met a fan today, a flower woman down the street, a rather pleasant sort. A great fan of your exploits in my literary talent.
Mr. Holmes, sir.
Ah, yes, come in, Mrs. Hudson.
There's a gentleman to see you.
Ah, that would be Inspector Lestrade of Scotland Yard. Yeah, and he is not alone.
How did you know that?
It is of no importance to you. Please let the lady and gentleman in.
Yes, sir. Oh, I do hate to mention it, but some of the neighbours are complaining about your target practice.
Indeed.
I do wish you wouldn't use my rooms for that sort of thing. It ruins the wallpaper.
Quite right, Mrs. Hudson, quite right. Ah. Lestrade and some woman, eh?
Oh, yes. Lestrade was only acting as a police escort at this time. The gentleman in question is none other than the Prince of Bohemia, and the woman is Lady Edwina Hunter, a distant relative.
How can you be so sure it's them?
I simply looked out the window as they were getting out of their carriage. Pray, come in. Delighted to see you again, Lady Edwina. My colleague, Dr. John Watson.
Dr. Watson?
Delighted.
This is...
Softly, softly. The walls may have ears. Please be seated.
We've come directly from the insurance company. They tell us you have taken complete charge.
Correct.
What progress have you made, Mr. Holmes?
Minimal.
Considering your reputation, that's hardly encouraging. You disappoint me.
We'll pay you any sum.
I assure you, my charges are upon a fixed scale. I do not vary them unless I choose to remit them altogether.
We are desperate.
Your Highness, did you love the sister of Miss Alice Faulkner?
That's all the past. The future is all that matters.
I see no reason not to answer. I loved her deeply, Mr. Holmes. I would have married her.
Nonsense. You're too young to know your own mind. Infatuation, nothing more.
Did she know of your true feelings?
Yeah.
Yes. You say that she knew of your true affections and that you would have married her. Hardly the motives for self-destruction.
I have never been able to understand why she did it.
Curious. And she had everything for which to live.
What matters now are those letters. In the wrong hands, they could be lethal.
I don't think we're full.
No matter. It appears to me our time has been wasted. Mr. Holmes reports minimal progress.
I assure you, Lady Edwina, Holmes knows what he is about.
You'll forgive me if I do not share your enthusiasm, Mr. Holmes. I think we ought to return to the insurance company and register a complaint. I trust we may expect more than minimal progress in the near future, Mr. Holmes.
Please forgive my aunt, Mr. Holmes. She's been under a terrible strain. I can't bring myself to reprimand her.
I understand.
I'll be down shortly, Your Highness. I want a word with Mr. Holmes. That Lady Edwina is a big one.
Her motives are clear. She only wishes to protect the family honor.
Being the prince's bodyguard ain't my idea of ideal police work.
I'd consider it an honor.
I've got him to worry about. And the heist from the Tower of London. I hope you can give me a hand with that one.
Oh, there's this crime. Robbery at the Tower of London.
That would make an excellent title. Sherlock Holmes and the robbery at the Tower of London.
It might be a story for your pen, Dr. Watson, but it's my job.
Oh, yes. Well, once this affair with the Prince of Bohemia is over, I assure you, the Tower shall have my complete attention.
I'm obliged, Mr. Holmes. You can count on the straw.
Count on the Strada, please. The man's a dolt. I doubt if he could find himself in the lost and found department.
The Prince of Bohemia is a rather unique client.
You consider the prince a mere client? Have you no compassion?
To me, a client is a mere unit, a factor in an equation. The emotional qualities are antagonistic to clear reasoning.
Oh, you sound like a calculating machine.
The plot thickens.
Talking riddles again.
Wait, shh.
It smells of kidney pie, some of Mrs. Hudson's good English cooking.
No, hardly. Just jasmine. The essence of jasmine.
Perfume?
Do come in, Miss Faulkner.
Bless me.
Please do not hide in the shadows. I am sure Lestrade did not see you.
How did you know it was me?
75 perfumes are currently available at this time that a criminal expert like myself must be able to distinguish one from the other, you see. And at the Larrabees, you radiated the scent of jasmine.
Remarkable deduction.
Elementary.
Do forgive him. Holmes, where are your manners? My dear, if you would please be seated. I'm Dr. Watson.
Thank you. I would like to speak with you privately.
Well, if you want to be
No, Watson, please stay. I would like your opinion on this matter. You may speak freely in front of Dr. Watson.
As you wish. I've come to correct a false impression.
Indeed.
I told you my prime motive was a desire for money. I do not want money.
You seek justice for your sister.
Justice? There is no justice. I seek punishment. Revenge.
Revenge is not only sweet, it is sometimes therapeutic.
I seek nothing for myself.
Then why didn't you confront the prince outside the house?
That wouldn't prove anything. I want the world to know of his disgrace, his cruelty.
Cruelty? Prince Carl impressed me as a rather pleasant
Watson,
young man.
please.
Sorry.
This is all you wish to tell me.
Why didn't you seize the letters when you had the opportunity?
Because I am a detective second and a gentleman first.
I see. I'll take no more of your time.
I could have Mrs. Hudson serve some tea. She is rather famous for her cucumber sandwiches.
No, thank you, Dr. Watson. I've already imposed.
You are still at the Larrabee's.
I've made arrangements to move to a hotel. Modest, but fashionable.
Wise.
Good day, Sherlock Holmes.
Miss Faulkner.
Lovely creature.
My methods seldom fail. She has taken the bait.
Bait?
She shall not hand those letters over to me until I have her complete trust. And I am winning that trust.
She seemed charming, disturbed yet rather charming.
I assure you, Watson, the most winning woman I ever knew was hanged for poisoning 3 children for their insurance money.
So you're saying you don't like Miss Faulkner?
To like a woman is the first step to loving a woman, and love is an emotional thing.
Well, I certainly should hope so.
Whatever is emotional is opposed to that cold, hard reasoning which I hold above all else.
Mr. Holmes?
Careful, Watson. Oh, easy, it's the Larrabee's maid.
What are you doing sneaking in through the bedroom window? Most irregular.
I'm so nervous. What if police saw me? They might think I was a criminal.
Please, please, compose yourself. Sit down and give me the message.
Foreman says they've got him making a bundle of forgeries.
Foreman?
Oh yes, my man at Larrabee's, undercover agent. And by there you mean the Larrabee's.
Yes, they're making copies of Miss Faulkner's letters.
I take it you understand from Foreman the seriousness of this business.
He has enlisted my aid. I am your ally, Mr. Holmes.
Good show.
Poor Miss Faulkner. They told me she was demented. That settles it. I'm quitting at once.
No, please, you must not do that.
No?
I wish Miss Faulkner to know that I propose to buy the false letters. Tell her that you overheard the Larrabees discussing the matter with Foreman.
If you say so.
But do not tell her that I know the letters are counterfeit.
But why?
I have my reasons. If you should work with me in the future, I shall demand complete fidelity to my orders.
In other words, my dear, he doesn't want you to ask any questions.
You wish to help Miss Faulkner.
Oh, yes.
Yes, Foreman was right. You must not be seen. I suspect the house is being watched. Careful on your way out.
I do find detective work exciting, Mr. Holmes.
That's what I was afraid of. Off you go.
Yes, sir.
Holmes, this flat has had more traffic than Victoria's station.
Game's afoot.
Talking riddles again.
What is it, Mrs. Hudson?
A match girl just brought news to me of my sister, Mr. Holmes. The one with headaches.
Match girl?
No, my sister. I'll have to go to her. Go tell her when I'll be back.
Watson and I could manage.
Is there something that I can do?
I don't think so, Dr. Watson. It's her nerves more than anything. I'll just brew her some rosette tea.
We shall be quite all right.
There's some cold liver on the ice in case you're hungry.
Cold liver? Ugh. I could have sworn it was kidney pie.
Yes. Now, Watson, I'm expecting a visitor at any minute.
At this hour?
And he shall not enter this house unless he is certain that I am quite alone. Therefore, please, I would like you to pretend to follow Mrs. Hudson to the tram. Then stay, double back around to the house. Do not enter unless you hear me cry out or a gunshot disturbs the call.
But Holmes.
Please, right now, Watson, do as I ask.
Right. It's a mystery you never think.
Do come in, Professor.
I find the violin relaxes me. Hand me my violin and for hours I can forget miserable weather, the even more miserable ways of our fellow man.
I find the same service in higher mathematics. Are you saving it for a client?
Do make yourself comfortable.
You are not surprised to see me.
Hardly. Your suffragettes have been gathering in the byways of Baker Street for the past hour.
You know about them, I see, but I would expect no less of the great Sherlock Holmes.
You flatter me.
I have never underestimated you, Holmes. You and I are both connoisseurs of sorts, you see. We've been fencing for years, but our pond grows smaller and smaller. We grow together like a couple of old greedy pike. Either I finish you, or you finish me, or we both choke on each other. Either way, one of us must go.
I take it from your wording you have a proposal.
Join with me, Holmes. An alliance.
An unholy alliance.
I may yet tempt you.
Jewels stolen from the Tower of London. Loot from robberies. Stock manipulations. You disappoint me, Professor.
You and I know what is most desired, Holmes. Power. Soon I will have the power to create the greatest crime of all time. World war. Nations will grovel to my feet. Millions will be made. Millions with which to buy more power. Kings, presidents, emperors will all be humbled. What a glorious spectacle, Holmes. The world in flames.
I shall never let this happen.
If you do not agree to join with me, then give me your assurance that you will never again hinder my plans.
And if I give no such assurance?
Destruction.
If I were assured of your destruction, I would, in the interests of the public, cheerfully accept my own.
I was afraid of that. I shall miss you, Holmes.
I'm afraid that I shall deprive you of that pleasure. You see, the Strasmen are already gathering as many of your gang as they can catch in the streets.
He'll come here next.
No. I do not know how you plan to put your grand illusion into effect, but you must be free to move about, so that I may track you down and discover your plots.
You have seen fit not only to reject my proposal, but to do so with an irritating smugness. You have made insulting references. I cannot allow this to pass. You win the first round, young Sherlock Holmes, but the second shall fall to me. The war shall fall to me. I have my methods. You have been warned.
The game's afoot, Moriarty. I shall not rest until I have you behind bars and your plans are ruined. You have been warned.
What hasn't she did here?
Never you mind about Mrs. Bassett. She knows what she's about.
If the bobbies didn't get outside the British Museum. Laura, what's on that was?
Oh, those fancy ladies and gentlemen watching our suffragette riot, never realising they was getting their pockets picked and their pretty jewels lifted.
Mrs. Bassett says we were bankrupt half the insurance firms in London.
Half? All?
Here she comes. Both games. Good.
You look all done in.
It's the professor. He's in a strange way.
How so?
Preoccupied, my dear. Very preoccupied.
What's the game tonight?
I'm not sure. But if we're using this warehouse again, so close to the Homestead Marshes,
My guess is we play the game like murder.
If that professor doesn't stop dropping people in water, he's gonna clog the sewers.
Careful, someone's coming.
Professor Moriarty, you in here?
No one in here but us suffragette mice, Mr. Prince.
Can you have still to goodness, Basic? We all tracing.
Sit down.
Gladly.
Went seeing, were you?
Nah. Mind if I light up me pipe? No! Now what?
You might throw the match on the floor.
What of it?
Well, the gas lines, they're old, they leak.
Now that you mention it, I can smell the gas.
Dangerous stuff. Deadly.
You might say we're in a gas chamber. So no, matches.
Amen to that.
Who's that? Should be gas house dirty.
It's can't mistake that one. Greetings, one and all.
Did you bring it?
Of course I did. It's one of my finest, too.
Let's see it. Don't be dirty. Be careful.
What is that wicked-looking thing?
Why, it's a time bomb, dearie. Ain't it lovely? Ain't the sort of thing I'd like to find in my Christmas stocking.
What's the professor gonna do with that?
Is it for?
Oh, good time.
Was you there all this time, Professor?
I shall be brief.
It's my finest piece of work, Professor.
It had better be Gashouse Gertie, or else.
Who else?
This trapdoor beneath my feet opens to the slimy marshes below.
You can trust me workmanship, Professor. I stands by me product.
Trust. That word is of no use to Moriarty. Timing?
5 minutes leeway, once it's set.
If that goes off in here, it'll look like a tidal wave hit the marsh.
Precisely.
Who's it to be, Professor?
The young Sherlock Holmes.
He's a big fish, that one.
He won't be able to sop up Holmes with a bar.
Who's that?
According to my schedule, it will be Mr. James Larrabee.
Have a devil of a time finding the place.
Leave us. Stand ready for when you're needed. You sent the letter to Holmes as I ordered.
I did. Telling him to meet me here at midnight. Will he come?
Holmes must produce these letters for his client or suffer irreparable damage to his reputation. He has but one fault that will trigger it.
What's that?
Vanity. When you have the money, give 3 short whistles as a signal.
I'm not sure I can do that. I can manage 1. 3 takes talent.
Here. Use this.
Thank you, Professor.
Now you quicken when you're finished with Holmes!
Beg pardon?
Mrs. Bassett will know what to do. Sid!
Here I am, Professor, at your service.
He'll stand guard in the alley. When Holmes nears, signal with a bird call.
Bird call? I'm your man, Professor.
Do not fail me, Larrabee.
What if Holmes tries something? What if he brings the police? Creepy old warehouse. Turns my blood to ice water. Sorry I ever got mixed up in all this. I don't like that Professor Moriarty. Too spooky for my taste. What? Holmes. You!
What is this place? Smells like a gas leak.
Delicate thing, aren't you, Alice? At the moment, it's my place of business. How did you get here?
I followed you in a cab.
And what are you going to do? Inform the police?
I know what you're up to, if that concerns you. We're going to sell counterfeit letters to Mr. Holmes. Or try to.
So you're going to warn him, eh?
I will not let him be swindled and deceived.
And how exactly do you plan to stop me?
I could buy you off.
Why should you be protective of Sherlock Holmes?
That is my affair.
An affair of the heart, maybe? You've placed yourself in danger by coming here. Which would you give?
The real letters.
Have you got them with you?
No, but I can get them.
You think he's your friend, don't you? He's not. Otherwise, he wouldn't be coming here to buy the letters.
Fake letters?
Ah, but he doesn't know that.
Before he'd buy any letters, he'd ask my permission.
He won't get the chance.
What's that for?
You'll see. Tie her up and gave her.
Don't struggle, dearie.
It'll make me irritated.
Wait! I'll tell you where the real letters are.
Don't trust her.
Just promise not to go on with this.
It's too late. Holmes will be here any second. You know what to do.
Have you no shame?
Can't afford it. Make sure she can't cry out.
We know our business, Mr. Larrabee.
You do what the professor says and there won't be any problems.
Finish?
Neat and tidy.
My scheme all falling to pieces. What? It has to be Holmes.
I do wish I understood why this criminal element so favoured the Plumstead marshes.
The West India docks are too public.
Water-rats do favour these marshes. Perhaps that is the connection.
Never shy of the insult, are you, Mr. Holmes?
Not where roads are concerned.
Got my message, I see.
Obviously.
I picked this place because it was neutral territory.
Rubbish. This is one of Moriarty's caves. I have been here on other occasions dealing with riffraff.
Moriarty? Never heard of him.
As a Liaguari rank amateur, Larrabee.
I tell you, I've never heard of this Moriarty, was it?
I am here to discuss letters.
They're sitting right in front of you, Mr. Holmes.
And Miss Faulkner has consented to the sale?
Indeed.
On the contrary, I believe Miss Faulkner knows nothing of this affair, so let us omit her name from our discussion altogether.
What makes you think she's in the dark?
Your every look, tone, and gesture.
Do you think you can read me like a book?
A child's book.
How much will you give?
£1,000.
5.
I have brought the sum with me.
I won't take less than 5, I tell you.
And I tell you that my time is quite as limited as yours. Yes, £1,000. If you desire to sell at this figure, please notify me at once. Otherwise, I bid you good evening.
Will you give me 2?
1.
Ah, well. Why quibble? £1,000 it is.
Letters.
Paid for and delivered.
Now I've got you, Larrabee. You shall get 10 years for robbery.
Robbery?
These letters.
You don't even have a witness.
Miss Faulkner herself. I saw her enter this warehouse, and intermingled with these noxious fumes is the unmistakable scent of jasmine. Where have you hidden her?
Then pay no mind. It's probably the water rats.
When you are behind bars, Moriarty shall have one less incompetent crook.
Think so?
A whistle, but theatrical, is it not?
Now who's got the upper hand?
I warn you, in the Orient I learned an uncommon fighting technique, and now my hands and feet are deadly weapons.
I'll talk. We got him pinned down.
We'll play it safe. Bring out the girl.
Give us any trouble, Mr. Holmes, and the girl goes first.
They can't be trusted, Mr. Holmes.
Can't be trusted, Mr. Holmes.
I recognize the lot. Mrs. Bassick, her gang of counterfeit suffragettes, Sid Prince, and the notorious Gashouse Gertie.
What are you waiting for? Tie him up.
It is not difficult to imagine who is behind all this.
He knows about the professor.
No matter. The professor's a gent. He sent me a message for you.
Indeed.
He presented his kindest compliments and wished you a pleasant journey.
Journey? What is she talking about, Mr. Holmes?
A pleasant journey to the other side.
He had me whip up a little bon voyage gift. Ain't it pretty? So calm! Oh, I hope so, dearie. What's what it's supposed to be?
5 minutes.
I'll set the timer, just like boiling egg. We're doomed.
Courage, Miss Faulkner. Courage.
You can stay and chit-chat if you like. I'm traveling.
I'm with you, Sid.
Glad to see the last of you, Mr. Sherlock Holmes.
The ropes are tight.
And they can't twist their hands into those knots.
The great detective, blown to bits in the Plumstead marshes.
Who is this professor they speak of?
The most evil man in London. I suspect, Miss Faulkner, that he wishes the marriage to take place.
Don't understand. 4 minutes.
If the marriage takes place, he can then produce the letters, proving that Prince Carl married under a cloud, that he employed deception.
Go on.
This affront to the honor of the Russian royal family shall demand satisfaction.
Satisfaction?
War.
War? 3 minutes.
This would put Moriarty in a position of immense power, you see, since he controls the munitions cartel. That is the scheme. Count on it.
Incredible.
Oh yes, Miss Faulkner, your sister met her demise not, as you believe, but at the hands of a hired assassin.
Cannot believe that. 2.5 minutes.
I know Moriarty's methods.
Although we will soon be meeting our demise together, I feel as if I hardly know you. You're here, doomed, because of me. I can't help but feel responsible.
These things do happen.
Only you stayed out of the case.
When Moriarty is involved, matters demand my presence. No, 2 minutes.
Then this is goodbye.
Nonsense. I shall free myself from these bonds and escape.
How?
When I was in Tibet, I studied the thought concentration techniques of the holy monks. They were able to shrink their hands through intense meditation. I then taught this method to a young man named Harry Houdini. Have you heard of him?
What kind of a name is Houdini? And you haven't time for meditation. Hurry, oh hurry, please, Mr. Holmes. 20 seconds. Hurry. Oh, it's too late.
Never!
Thank heavens.
Proper breathing is a great boon to mankind, Miss Faulkner. Although, it's a pity so few people know how to breathe properly. Oh yes, that and concentration, of course.
Do you think you could hurry it along, Mr. Holmes?
Oh yes, inhalation and meditation never fail.
I will have to try it sometime, but not now.
You are a brave young woman, Miss Faulkner.
At the moment, I'm a frightened young woman. We must escape.
After you, Miss Faulkner.
There are only seconds left.
9 to be precise.
Scotland Yard baffled.
Evening news. Evening news. House of Commons and Ice petition to give the right to women. Suffragettes riot outside British Museum. Read all
Squaws
about
robbing
it.
unknown assailants outside British Museum. Read all about it.
Read all about it.
War weapon with the Bohemia, Russian road to run here. Read all about it.
Play built for the Mormons along the Austrian border. Read all about it.
Even stocks skyrocket. You're from the butcher wallpaper.
We're boys with this apprentice. Read all about it.
Never life found in Plumstead marshes. Public asking why did Sherlock Holmes do something? Paper, read all about it. Go away.
Are you going to Scarborough then? Was he sleepless, merry, and tired?
him to take me like Catherine should. Parsley, sage, rosemary, and thyme. Then the sweet for evil word. Then he'll be a true love of mine. Tell him to find me an acre of land. Parsley, sage, rosemary, and thyme. Between the water and the sea strand. Then he'll be a true love of mine. He was once a true love of mine.
Evening news! Evening news!
Your edition of the evening news. Read all about it.
Mysterious explosion in Plumstead Marshes. World's blown to bits.
Police arrest fake suffragettes. Notorious Mrs. Bassick and gang of female robbers behind bars.
Big
Read all
suffragettes
about
in
it.
Mid Pine Heights and Tower of London. Get your paper.
Get
Get your paper.
Read all about it.
War when plans revealed. Queen Victoria gives a blessing. Read all about
Russian
it.
and horseshoe signs on some face bags. Read all about it.
War military build-up in Europe. Get your paper.
Militia stone fires. Millions and beds and bombs, boards and cannons. Read all about it.
Coming too fast.
Police arrest fake suffragettes. Mysterious explosion in Plumstead Marshes. Read all about it.
Now, I've written out a prescription that should help your headaches, Miss... I didn't quite catch your name.
Miss Gibbs, Doctor. Miss Lillian Gibbs. Thank you for your time, although I am sorry to discover Mr. Holmes is not in.
Get a lot of patients who come here hoping to see him.
Just a glimpse is all I wanted. I wouldn't dream of intruding on his privacy. Are you quite sure he's not here?
My dear young woman, I have already told you that Holmes is not here. I am not in the habit of lying.
I apologize. I did not mean to appear rude.
Is Miss Baskerville, Dr. Watson?
Baskerville. Baskerville?
This way.
I'll take no more of your time.
Silly creature, that Miss Gibbs. Not a thing the matter with her. Oh, do sit down, miss. Now, what seems to be the trouble?
I'm desperate for help. You must tell me when Mr. Sherlock Holmes will return.
I have no idea. Is there something that I can do?
My uncle was recently killed by a gigantic ghost hound.
What?
Ghost town, do you say?
On the walls outside the manor house, the villagers say it's a family curse. The hound of the Baskervilles.
Good gracious! It doesn't sound like a proper English ghost at all.
My brother, Sir Henry, is next in line for the inheritance. I must speak with Sherlock Holmes.
There.
My brother will be the next to die. I'm so frightened.
Nice cup of hot tea by the kitchen fire, hot to do you wonders.
Excellent idea. And when you've had your tea, perhaps Holmes will have returned. Poor child, gigantic ghost hound. What's next? Holmes, what the devil?
Are we alone?
Oh, of course we're alone. What are you doing sneaking in that way?
I wanted to make certain Moriarty saw me.
Then why didn't you use the front door?
There must be a certain mystery regarding my return to Baker Street. You mean, you see, he means to kill me.
You mean in here?
He missed his chance at the Plumstead Marshes.
You mixed up in all that.
In a fashion. Any unusual visitors this morning?
Oh, just some poor girl complaining about a gigantic dog. And a patient who called herself Lillian Gibbs, but looked suspiciously like the description you gave me of Madge Larrabee.
Excellent. Undoubtedly here to see if I was in hiding. Knot draws tighter. Mrs. Hudson!
What about the letter business?
I have sent word for Prince Carl and Lady Edwina to meet me here at this hour.
With Moriarty on the prowl?
What better time?
Mr. Holmes, I didn't hear you come in.
That is what you may expect to hear when I do not wish to be heard.
What?
Be so kind as to fetch the cabbie on the corner.
But cabbies don't wait on the corner, Mr. Holmes. There's not enough business for him.
I believe you shall find one there this morning. Tell him that you have a tenant who wishes to go to the following address, 106 Harley Lane.
Who's going out?
I am.
But you just come in.
Do hurry, Mrs. Hudson. Spit spot!
106 Harley Lane. Why, isn't that the address of the insurance firm that's hired you?
Correct.
You're going there when everyone else is coming here?
Correct again. Hello, what is this?
Oh, nothing. That's just some medical supplies I had delivered.
It might do. It is rather heavy.
Might do for what?
You stop asking so many questions. Please, give me a hand.
Oh. All right.
Some more ignoring, please.
Oh, that's rich. You're going to leave it there?
Curious.
What?
That he is here so soon.
Who? Now?
No, those were not the footsteps. Jasmine.
Pray, forgive me for coming here against your instructions.
You are a woman of strong will, Miss Faulkner.
You wouldn't allow me to thank you last evening.
I expect no thanks. But I did tell you I had an important business meeting here in this hour. Shh.
What is it?
Shh. Miss Faulkner, quickly, play a patient. Do not look at the visitor, keep your back to him.
What visitor?
Watson, I rely on you.
Hurry, my dear, hurry.
Someone called for a cab.
Well, there you are, my good man. I wish to go to 106 Harley Lane and then to Victoria Station. You shall have trouble with that chest. It is heavy.
I can manage.
Now, my dear, about those dizzy spells.
They give me no relief.
And when did you first start seeing the symptoms?
A fortnight ago.
Yes.
Would you like a hand with that?
Might help.
Yes, perhaps I ought to know some of these contents. Not want anything getting damaged during transit in my job. No! Stop! What are you doing? Stop this! Now I've got you.
What's happening? Mr. Holmes, why haven't you put handcuffs on the cabman?
Man. No, Miss Faulkner. I give you the author of all the evil that has transpired here. Professor Moriarty.
I'm so...
Oh, steady on here, my dear.
Now's the time, Miss Strahd! Sorry, you did not have the chance to finish me off at the Plumstead Marshes.
That makes two of us.
Cut out I ever would have reached Victoria Station.
As do I.
Good luck, clockwork, hey, Mr. Holmes.
Here's your man. Oh, permit me to introduce the Larrabee's butler. This is Foreman, one of my agents.
London will sleep easy tonight, thanks to you, Mr. Holmes.
May she always do so. Have you apprehended Madge Larrabee?
Aye, and her husband too.
Excellent. I shall not only have the pleasure of testifying against your men, but against you as well. Take a witness.
I curse you, Holmes! I curse you! Get your life off of me!
I return the compliment, Professor.
What will they do to him?
The gallows, I trust. Ah, you received my message. Excellent.
Who were those men?
Oh, two of them were reasonably respectable citizens, and the other was a minor criminal.
Minor? Have you lost your mind? It was Professor Moriarty himself.
We have more serious matters to discuss.
More serious than Moriarty?
Please, proceed.
I prefer to stand.
Could we get on with it?
Do you or do you not have the letters?
I do. Though, cost of £1,000.
What are you up to, Mr. Holmes?
What's wrong, Carl?
These are not the letters.
What?
They're forgeries. Cleverly done, but forgeries nevertheless.
Are you certain?
Mr. Holmes, in spite of your supposed cleverness, they have tricked you.
You have disappointed Queen Victoria.
Moriarty has won. I'm ruined.
Surely this does not mean you may not recover the real letters.
I'm afraid it does.
The prince put such trust in you.
The insurance people told me I could count on you.
Do you have any idea what this was due to international affairs?
This will be a slap in the face of your reputation.
I'm ruined. Ruined.
You're not ruined.
Your Highness, I told you that you would have the letters in your hand at this hour.
Well? Well?
Carl, are they genuine?
Yes, absolutely genuine. Your reputation is secure, Mr. Holmes.
But what of these other letters? The forgeries?
Holmes' methods are rather unorthodox.
If you say so, but I really don't comprehend.
What matters is that we have the real letters.
Who?
No, I'm sure you'll appreciate the strain Mr. Holmes has been under.
Naturally. I shall inform the insurance firm of our complete satisfaction.
You are too kind.
You have been infallible.
I'll show you out.
You knew the letters you purchased from Larrabee were counterfeit.
Yes.
When you told me of this important business meeting, you knew I would come here.
I hoped you would.
You knew I could never allow you to be disgraced.
I am an excellent trickster, Miss Faulkner. But before you say another thing, I detect a hint of romance in your voice.
Your powers of observation are remarkable.
If ever I had tried for romance, if ever my heart were to reach out to another,
Don't stop.
Alice.
Yes, Sherlock. Oh, Mr. Holmes! Do forgive me.
Yes, and you are?
Maggie Baskerville. My brother is Sir Henry Baskerville.
Niece and nephew of the murdered Sir Charles Baskerville.
Why, yes.
I know the case.
Only this morning my brother received letters warning that he would die at the fangs of a gigantic ghost town. Not more letters!
Miss Baskerville, please. Go downstairs. I shall follow soon. There's not a moment to lose.
Thank you. Thank you.
Goodbye, Miss Faulkner. Think of me as one of the stately manners of England. Fascinating to visit, but alas, impossible to live with. Come, Watson! The game's afoot!
I shall never forget you, Sherlock Holmes.
to, Jack?
Several different places.
All good work, Mr. Holmes. All right, that's very good of you. Have you been playing chess lately? Oh yes, what? Are you very good at it?
How much longer?
Well, you know, Jack, I do wish you would clean up your mess every once in a while.
You're making messes on the couch.
You see, oh, there. You see these book scraps? Yes. Well, these book scraps are mine, actually. They belong over there on the bookshelf. I'm sorry, Mr. Holmes. I do forgive you, if I were of the forgiving type. But I do not forgive you. You shall now take over Mrs. Hudson's duties. No. Because you left your mess on this couch.
Mr. Holmes.
Yes, you're right.
Let's hope it doesn't come badly.
There.
And you haven't time for meditation. Hurry, oh hurry, please, Mr. Holmes.
Stay with more meditation. You're cracking your...
Oh wait, she's laughing.
Yes, I'm laughing. Try to keep it a little bit more... just take a few little buzz in.
Hurry! 90 seconds!
Start looking around, kids, and like, is there another way out?
Oh, it's too late.